Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Man, child killed in Spanish Town arson attack. Men this morning launched a gun attack and then set fire to a house in Horizon Park, Spanish Town, St. Catherine, which resulted in the death of a man and a child. The man's girlfriend, who was also inside the house, escaped. It is reported that about 4:30 this morning, men armed with guns went to the house and opened fire. It is further reported that the gunmen forced their way inside the house, shot the man and then set it ablaze. The female occupant managed to flee. Residents reported the hearing heavy gunfire. The attacker then fled. An alarm was raised and the police and firefighters responded. The remains of the man and the 2-year-old girl were found inside the house, which was destroyed by fire. Man chopped to death on Red Hills Road. A man was chopped to death and at least 2 others were injured early this morning along Red Hills Road in St. Andrew. He has been identified as construction worker Philip Bennett. According to his brother Stephen Smith, Bennett left his home around 7 o'clock to go to a shop to meet his spouse, who was going to work. Smith further said that while at the shop, his brother was attacked by a man said to be of an unsound mind with a machete. Smith sustained multiple injuries and subsequently succumbed. When contacted by reporters, head of the St. Andrew North Police Division Superintendent Sherika Service said the man was chasing a group of people along the roadway and managed to inflict chop wounds on 3 of them. Bennett died as a result of the injuries he sustained. The attacker was accosted by the police. He is in safe police custody. Naturally, residents were very irritated about what happened. They were very surprised, but there are certain procedures that we carry out whenever things like these happen. Tempers flare, and regardless of who is right or wrong, we want to ensure the safety of all Jamaicans. So naturally, we would have taken him out of the area to ensure his safety and the continued safety of the persons on the ground, said Service. Man allegedly pushed from wall by a cop at murder scene, probe launched. A probe has been launched in an incident where a man was injured during an alleged confrontation with a policeman in the community of Walker's Hill in Red Hills Road, St. Andrew. Residents say an argument developed between the man and the policeman over an incident in the area this morning. Police investigators were called to the community after a man said to be of unsound mind chased a group of people along Red Hills Road and managed to inflict chop wounds on 3 of them. Construction worker Philip Bennett died as a result of the injuries he sustained. Residents allege that during the incident, the cop pushed the man from a wall. The man sustained injuries and was taken to hospital by cops at the scene. Inspector Colin Berger on Red Hills Road said a full investigation will be conducted. Campion saddened by students drowning death. Campion College says it is deeply saddened by the tragic death of a 5th form student, Jordan Gibson. Gibson drowned Thursday at the St. Andrew Bay School's pool. It has been reported that he was doing water polo practice about 4 o'clock when tragedy struck. We grieve with his family, friends, and all who feel his loss amid a release from the school on Friday, stated. Campion College also said counselors were available to speak to those in need at this time. Shoot to kill cannot be the state's response to crime, says Indicom. The Independent Commission of Investigations, Indicom, says a shoot-to-kill policy should not be the state response to crime. In a media release a day after National Security Dr. Minister Horace Chang urged police personnel to shoot to kill attackers, Indicom said all public officials should be guided by the Constitution of Jamaica in their statements and actions. In any confrontation, the law gives primacy to the right to life. It is an inalienable constitutional right, Indicom stated. The oversight body also stressed that access to medical attention should be afforded to all persons in keeping with the state's obligation to safeguard life. It noted that injury or surrender are also possible outcomes when law enforcement officials are engaged in solving and tackling crime. Law enforcement officials should not be provided with the assertion or insinuation that there is any provision to act with impunity, Indicom declared. Bail hearing for Constable Noel Maitland set for October 4. A bail application is to be made on October 4 in the Home Circuit Court for Constable Noel Maitland, the policeman accused of killing his girlfriend Donnelly Donaldson. The date was scheduled when the defendant made his first appearance in the High Circuit Court this afternoon. The judge, as a result, requested his antecedents, which should be submitted at the court registry by September 30. The matter was this morning transferred from the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court which was entered by the Director of the Public Prosecutions. In the meantime, the High Court was also informed that the case file is still incomplete, but that the relevant documents should be submitted by November 11. The accused has been in custody since his arrest on July 27. In relation to the disappearance of 24-year-old Donnelly Donaldson, Donaldson was last seen at his New Kingston apartment on July 11. She was reported missing on July 13. The police had indicated that investigations concluded that Donaldson was killed on July 12 between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. They stated that this was supported by forensics evidence and technology, but noted that a motive has not yet been established for the killing. 3 shot, 2 fatally in Manchester drive-by. Police were on the scene of a double murder in Williamsfield, Manchester, where 3 men were shot 2 fatally in a drive-by attack. Preliminary reports are that shortly after midday, 4 people traveling in a Mercedes-Benz motor car were trailed by a gunman to a bar and jerk center in Williamsfield. 3 of the 4 occupants exited the vehicle and were shot as they made their way into the business establishment. The 4th person, who is said to be a woman, escaped unharmed. Police sources say the motor car was also fired on. Rocky Miller declines role as Cabinet Secretary. Less than 48 hours after he was announced as the new Cabinet Secretary and Head of the Public Service, Lieutenant General Rocky Ricardo Miller has declined to take up the post. In a statement issued on Thursday, he said that though he was convinced to continue to serve and had initially indicated his intention to accept the offer, public discourse regarding his appointment does not provide a sufficiently settled environment for the assumption of such a significant office. Although I was invited by the Public Services Commission to be considered for the post while I was still serving as officer, the current public discourse does not provide a sufficiently settled environment for the assumption of such a significant office, and I would therefore seek His Excellency's understanding of my decision to decline, his statement read. I would again like to thank His Excellency the Governor-General, the Most Honorable Prime Minister, and the Public Services Commission for the consideration and confidence, and appreciate their understanding of my position. Miller was expected to succeed Ambassador Douglas Saunders, who will be stepping down from the position on October 1. In responding to his appointment, Miller expressed his optimism about being appointed as Cabinet Secretary. I am humbled and honored to be considered for this critical role, pledged to further the positive evolution of the public service for the benefit of the wider society, he said. Lieutenant General Rocky's appointment as Cabinet Secretary was met with skepticism. Senior civil servants expressed concern that it may not be keeping with a provision of the Jamaican Constitution. The Cabinet Secretary is the most senior policy advisor in the civil service. He is Secretary to the Cabinet, responsible to all ministers for the running of Cabinet, and is also the head of the civil service. As Secretary of the Cabinet, he provides support and advice to the government and oversees the provision of policy and secretariat support to Cabinet and Cabinet committees. He organizes the minutes of the Cabinet and conveys the decisions of the Cabinet. As head of the public service, he is responsible for developing a highly professional public service able to effectively execute government business. Additionally, as head of the Permanent Secretary's Board, he is responsible for guiding the execution of ministry plans that align with government's priorities. Williams defends Godfrey Stewart High Principal in dress code dispute. As school administrators and parents continue to draw about a line in the long-running clash over students' grooming policy, Minister of Education Favour Williams said she is choosing to stand on the side of discipline. The tumultuous clash that has resulted in students being barred from classes or entry to school compounds owing to hair and uniform breaches. Godfrey Stewart High School in Westmoreland was the most recent flashpoint, where girls are mandated to wear skirts no shorter than 5 inches above the ankle, and boys' pants should be at least 16 inches in diameter. Williams had defended the principle and philosophy behind the school's action, despite controversial pronouncements by Principal Emily Lawrence Ricketts that long skirt would deter sexual predators. The principal has also cited concerns about fondling or molestation on public transportation. If a school or a teacher who has written a report to me under her signature says no student was told to leave the school, then I have to believe the teacher or the principal, and that is what happened, until proven otherwise. I have to take the report of the principal, Williams reiterated in an interview with reporters on Thursday. And while the principal's remarks have been described as victim blaming by some commentators, the minister said the situation was desperate. Her solution might not be very elegant, it might not have been necessary, what we want to see, but, for me, the bigger problem is to cry out for help for the school, she said. Williams added, of course, as a ministry, we will be writing to her to ensure that she engages the police to investigate the situations of harassment of students as they come to school, to get to the bottom of that, to help us to understand what is happening there and what measures we can put in place. The minister implored parents to encourage their students to obey the school rules and to engage with administrators and see centers for reform. Williams said that parents should become more involved in their children's school community. We believe children need consistent messages and they need all the adults in their lives to have high standards and expectations for ethical behavior. Character education can happen and should happen as a long-term community-wide and community-based effort involving schools, parents, social services agencies, law enforcement, churches, businesses, 4-H, and other youth organizations, said Williams. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell